Okay, so this week's episode is a little bit different because if you're watching this on video, we will have visuals to refer to throughout the podcast. So I want to talk today about the dark side of copywriting. Not to sound all mysterious and everything, but there is the dark and there's the light. And the light is when you actually treat people well, you're honest, and you don't try to manipulate and use copywriting for the wrong reasons. And the dark side is when maybe there's practices that are less than, what should I say, that would really probably tick people off and lead to people not trusting you. Okay, so I created a carousel in LinkedIn a while ago that I called the same thing, the dark side of copywriting, 6 underhanded copywriting strategies to avoid or risk losing the trust of your prospects. So I'm going to run through those and give a little additional information at the end that's specific to fitness and health copywriting. Alrighty, so let's jump in. So as I said, I don't mean to sound all mysterious, but it is with good reason. Because copy that misleads in any way will turn away prospects and customers because no one likes feeling like a fool, which is what a lot of these copywriting practices that I'm about to talk about will do. No one wants to feel like they've been duped. And that's, again, it's one of those things where there's a fine line, okay, between helping people realize that you have a solution to their challenge and making them feel so bad that they're insulted. Okay, so when we talk about copywriting, using the art and science of persuasion, and a lot of people misinterpret that as being manipulative. Copywriting should never be manipulative. It's simply offering a solution to a problem that people have, and that's it. That's really it. And then giving them the motivation to take action on it. I mean, that's how I see it. And I think a lot of copywriters also see it that way. So here's 6 ways that people could misuse copywriting. And one of them, the most common one, and I'm sure you're familiar with this term, is using clickbait. There are some sites that do this very well, and it's sort of funny, BuzzFeed being one that I know of. It's sort of like they know that 80% of people are not going to make it past a headline, whether it's a subject line in an email, a headline on an ad. 20% of people will make it past, but that's a very small amount. So they know, and not just BuzzFeed, but anyone who writes clickbait knows that they've got to grab people right off the bat. And the thing is, you want to have an enticing, engaging, and exciting subject line or heading, because people won't get past it if you don't. But yet you don't want to let them down once they get into the body of the ad or the copy. So it's one thing if it's an article, and if you get on YouTube and you see these the titles that are so ridiculous, and then you get on it and you get on the video and it's nothing at all, either nothing to do with what you thought it did, or they take you down this meandering path that takes 15 minutes to divulge basically nothing. That's clickbait. So you never want to have a shocking headline that doesn't follow through. Have a shocking headline, that's fine, but then make sure you make good on it in the body copy. And number 2, misleading statistics. If you cherry pick or misrepresent statistics, that's just basically unethical. Now, there's a thing. I spent many years as an article writer for magazines. And there's a saying among writers, and it's probably beyond just writers, but you can pretty much find a statistic or a study to back up anything that you want. This is why we have conspiracy theorists, right? Because they believe, okay, the earth is flat, and I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to show you how, the moon landing never happened and all this other stuff, because you can find evidence for pretty much anything. So keep that in mind. And people, they do know that, but you just don't want to manipulate people. If something is not true or misleading, just stick to the facts and you can still make a good argument. And then phony social proof. This is huge lately. People are less and less trusting of any kind of testimonials, especially on a site like Amazon, where you can have thousands of testimonials and you're reading through that. And what I do is I'll read through a lot of them and see if there's a commonality. If everyone's complaining about the same thing, or everyone's saying that a particular benefit or feature is really good, and then maybe it's true. But you can't just take one or two and make a decision based on those. And the phony social proof that is used on websites is a lot of testimonials when you don't see a picture of the person, which isn't necessarily, some people don't want their picture out there. I know, because I've had to get testimonials from people on social proof. It's even harder to get a video testimonial, which is really the best way, because it's really hard to fake unless you're an expert at AI and you can do a deep fake. Who is going to go through all that unless you're really evil? So I don't think people are doing that on a regular basis. So when you have social proof on your site, make sure it's legit. Again, people are hesitant using their last name. Have a photo, do your best to make it legit, and make sure that it's for real. The only exception I had years ago, a friend of mine said she had to take her name down from a very big, it was a really famous leader in this particular niche. And she said whenever her testimonial and her full name was posted, she would get bombarded with people asking her questions about this particular program. And she said, I just had to stop it. And so, there's exceptions why people don't want it. But for the most part, just make sure that your testimonials are legit. And this kind of goes along with the exaggeration and hype. I have fallen more than once for these products on a social website. It's Facebook, and it was years ago, but there's a lot of fake, even video testimonials. So I buy, no big surprise, health, beauty, skincare products. And I have stopped doing it from sites like that. Even TikTok, I ordered something not long ago on TikTok that I never received. And I was able to get my money back from my credit card company. But there's a lot of misleading and exaggeration going on in these ads. If something really seems like it's a miracle cure, and especially on a site like TikTok, they will send you, because of the algorithm, so much more of the same thing from different people. You really need to be careful. And even for B2B, you want to make sure that when you are putting your services out there and what you are promising is legit, and it's not, and it's specific to, but it's not overhyping the benefits that people are going to receive. False scarcity, this is used a lot on websites when they want you to make a decision right now. And there's usually a countdown timer, which is very frightening. I immediately think of shows where they have the ticking bombs, right? And they detonate it, or they stop it from detonating 1 second before it goes off. So I think maybe maybe people are preying on that whole thing. So you go on a site and you see something maybe you want, and you're not sure, and then they show you this clock that's ticking down, and you have 10 minutes. If that's legit, and sometimes it is, then fine. Make a decision or don't. Just get off the site. But if you feel like you're pressured into it and you're not sure if that's what you want, then click off of it. And people will do that with you too. So in the B2B space, it's more if you're having people sign up maybe for a webinar or for a trial, you want to make sure that your scarcity, like only, so many people are allowed in this trial or whatever it is you're claiming, make sure that that is for real and that you're not just saying that to get people to sign up, because if somebody finds out, they're going to lose all the trust in you. So just make sure that the scarcity is for real, because it does works for me anyway. And then this one, I think is personally like the worst. These unsubscribe buttons, you've seen them, right? When you go on a site and maybe a pop-up, it blocks out the whole page. And the only way you can get off of that or to get rid of the pop-up is to click a button that says, no, I don't want to make money, or no, I want to still be a loser, or whatever it is. It's something that is designed and written to make you feel bad about saying no. And the thing is, I get on these sites a lot of times and I've already opted into this thing. So you're insulting me and I already have your stupid product at this point. That's how I'm feeling. Why do you want to make people feel bad? You can just say no thanks, not interested, or not today, whatever it is. But don't make that button the source of shame or try to make it shameful. So when it comes to health and fitness, there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, and specifically because there's a lot of that going on, like the misinterpreting and the over exaggeration. You go on any fitness and health ad. Like there was one years ago, I remember it stuck in my head because it said, take this supplement on an empty stomach and don't eat 3 hours before bedtime. Now, I know from 20 years of being a personal trainer that most people eat all the way up until bedtime. So if you are stopping eating 3 hours before bedtime, you'll start losing weight just because of that, regardless of the supplement. Of course, now supplements are passé and we have shots and all kinds of things that are far more intense, shall we say. But you have to watch for these sorts of claims. And the latest thing I keep seeing all over the place is I don't know what wall Pilates really is about, but everything is about that on some of the social media sites that I've seen. And the bottom line to any of these claims, regardless of what the tactic is, if they promise the consumer, this is obviously more B2C, that they're going to lose weight and tone up and get in shape in whatever way it is, if this person does not lose weight, they're not going to see the tone that they are promising in this ad. And I know that. And I see these things and I see exercises that promise to tone a particular part of the body that I know are not actually working that muscle. So you really want to educate yourself. And, this kind of spills over into B2B because you want to know what your prospects and your customers are seeing too, and that you want to help create these products that educate them and don't mislead them so that they trust you, right? So that's just my little soapbox for this episode. But anyway, I hope you found this helpful. And if you want me to shine a light on your copy, make sure you reach out to me at linda@thecopyworks.com and check out the Copyworks, WORX.com, my website. And be sure to subscribe and rate this podcast. And if you're on YouTube, I'd love if you become a subscriber there too. It really helps me out. Thanks so much for listening.